And hello, everyone. Welcome to Trading Tech Talk. My name is Daniel, and I will be your host tonight. And as every time, we have prepared a very exciting topic for you, which is called Confluence. And more specifically, it's called Super Signal through Confluence. We're going to investigate together whether we can improve our signal quality, our accuracy, if multiple things are coming together and giving us a signal at the same time. If this is just a myth, is it actually true? Well, we're going to find out in this Trading Tech Talk. So welcome, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and I hope you are too. And of course, as always, if you have questions, please put them into the Q&A box. And I'm also here with Nicola today. He's going to be manning the Q&A box and will bring questions and noteworthy things to my attention should this be necessary. Okay, but before we get started, let's make the lawyers happy. Keep in mind when you're trading that trading is risky and it is not suited for anyone or everyone. If you trade, make sure to use risk capital, which is defined as capital that if you lose it, it will not affect your lifestyle. When it comes to hypothetical performance or backtest results, keep in mind that these are not necessarily indicative of future performance. All right, so lawyers are happy. Let's get started. As always, our team consists of three main players. There's Nicola, who is on the chat today. So hi, Nicola. We also have Homa, who is busy today, but she will help out next time again. And of course, it's me. I'm your host. My name is Daniel Sinek, and we are together tradingindicators.com. And in case you don't know us, we specialize on building sophisticated trading tools. We've built over the years more than 500 different trading indicators and automated strategies, which are nowadays used all over the world by retail traders, by organizations, but also by trading educators. And hopefully through our tools, we help clients to become better traders and more successful in their trading. Besides indicators, we also build trading dashboards. We build trading apps. We build, as I mentioned before, automated strategies, scanners, and so forth. And frequently, we try to participate, if possible, in live events, in webinars, or on-site events as often as possible to share our knowledge. All right, so what do we have planned today? Oops. All right, so we're going to quickly see what's new, what has happened in the last 2 weeks since our last Trading Tech Talk. And right after this, we're going to jump into the topic of today, which is Confluence. We're going to discover together what is Confluence, when is it beneficial, when it may not be beneficial, and how it can help you in your trading. We're going to have plenty of charting. And as mentioned before, if you have questions or suggestions, please make sure to put them into the Q&A section. All right, so and as a reminder, our Trading Tech Talk takes place every second Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you're wondering what happened to last week's or the Tech Talk 2 weeks ago, I couldn't make it or I didn't see everything of it. Well, it's all recorded and we're always sending out the recording link after the Trading Tech Talk. I mean, you may also check on our YouTube channel for some condensed and cut versions of the topics at hand. You can find the YouTube channel if you go to our homepage, tradingindicators.com. In the top right corner, there's a small YouTube icon. Simply click on it, and it will bring you right away to our YouTube channel. All right, and make sure you subscribe just to keep up to date of anything new that we post along the way. So what has happened? What's new with us? Well, actually, quite a few things have happened in the last 2 weeks. Let's start off with the simple stuff. We have just today published a small bug fix for the volatility crusher indicator for TradingView, where the bar coloring was not working properly. This has now been fixed. And if you are a user of our Volatility Crusher for TradingView, you should have received a notification that a new version is available. There's no need to install anything. It will be given directly to you through your TradingView account. And now the bar coloring, which can be enabled or disabled in the settings of Volatility Crusher, is working properly. We've also added a new parameter. It's for styling only, but a new parameter for Divergence Cloud, also for TradingView. I don't know if you noticed, but TradingView has changed its charting engine a couple of months ago, which made our Divergence Cloud coloring look very faint and sometimes not very visible, especially on white backgrounds. To overcome this issue, we have now introduced a parameter with which you can set the opacity of the cloud to make it either darker or lighter. In your case, probably you want to make it darker to make it more visible. And this change has also been now pushed or published for TradingView. And if you're a client of Divergence Cloud or the auto-optimizing version of the Divergence Cloud, this change is now also available to you. All right, so these are some smaller fixes. We are about to release a brand new version of our Zillion dashboard. If you're not familiar with it, I invite you to go to zilliontree.com to check out what this trading dashboard does. And the new thing that we're about to release is broker integration, which will allow us to not only get live data directly from the broker to power the dashboard, we can also execute trades directly on Zillion, which is awesome. So we integrate a whole new trading panel into it. And in the next Tech Talk, I'm going to show you how this works. So this is about to be released. We're actually going to showcase it in Orlando starting on Sunday, October 30th, during the Money Show. So Homa and I were going to travel down to Orlando to the Money Show. We're going to have a booth there. And if you're around, come visit us and check out the new version of Zillion, or just come to say hello. We'd be very happy to see anybody down there. So Money Show in Orlando this weekend starting Sunday. We're going to be there until Tuesday. And last but not least, we have started working on the auto optimization feature of the Power Bundle for NinjaTrader and Metastock. And we are planning to release this feature for Metastock on November 7th. There's a webinar planned for that purpose, but and also for NinjaTrader, the release is planned just a few days later on November 10th at 4:30. Again, there is a webinar planned for this purpose. Okay, and somebody's asking, what is the link to the Zillion dashboard? Nicola, do you think you can just paste it into it? Oh, perfect. He's doing it. Great. Okay, so if you're interested in what Zillion is, Nicola will just paste the link into the chat. Maybe paste it into the chat, Nicola, so everybody can see it. Perfect. All right. So this is what happened on our end. But now let's talk about something that might be useful to you guys. What is Confluence? And today's topic is super signal through Confluence. And we're going to investigate together, can we actually get better accuracy when multiple things come together? And a fancy word for this is confluence, which basically means that multiple indicators or multiple strategies pointing to the same outcome. This can be either a long trade or perhaps a short trade. And Investopia, for example, defines Confluence as the combination of multiple strategies and ideas into one complete strategy. Forexpedia writes, Confluence occurs when several technical analysis methods give the same trade signal. And one more definition, when multiple investment methods, technical indicators, or trading signals are combined to form a more reliable strategy. So I think the gist of all these definitions is that we're looking at multiple indicators at the same time. And if they agree with each other, if they point to the same outcome, the theory of Confluence suggests that the accuracy of that this outcome will actually happen is higher than you would just only look at a single indicator. Now, these are definitions that you find on the web. Our internal definition that we use in-house is Confluence is basically a fancy word for when the stars align, which basically means when multiple indicators line up and forecast the same thing. So let's have a look at an example. Let's check out this chart, for example. What can we see here? And perhaps a question to you guys out there, do you see which perhaps indicators or analysis techniques are lining up and perhaps pointing to the same thing on this chart? Any ideas? What can we see here? So we do have a stochastic down here. We do have a trend line up here. We have an SMA, which is an SMA 200. We have some FIB levels, retracement. So what do we see here? Any suggestions? Any ideas? Now we can see some trend, absolutely. So price actually is has been moving downwards. So there's a trend moving downwards, which can also be seen by this trend line, which clearly points downwards. So that's one factor. Yeah. Okay. Paul says the next move will be down. Yeah. Good observation. Of course, it's also not that difficult because there's this big downwards arrow here. But yes, thank you. We did have a pivot point up here. Yes. Thank you, Alex. What else do we see? Crossing over EMA and SMA. Do we have a crossover? So, maybe not so much. This is a trend line up here. So I believe there's no MA crossover in this case. What else do we see? Yeah. So we do see also an SMA 200, and oftentimes an SMA 200 is used to estimate trend direction. If price is below the SMA 200, many traders take this as an indication that we're in a downtrend, and otherwise we are in an uptrend. Yeah. What else do we see? Yeah, we see the stochastic being overbought actually. So we can see that it's above 75, which typically is used as an overbought level. And when things are overbought, it can be an indication that price will retrace, move down and to the not overbought territory. Yeah, we can also see, for example, here that since this down move, price since has moved up, retraced into this or near this FIB level, the 68 or 61.8 FIB level, which is basically here. So it's near that zone of resistance. And clearly we can see that multiple things pointing to the same outcome. We have a descending trend line showing a downtrend. We have that we are below the SMA 200. And in fact, the trend line and the SMA in this case, they line up more or less. We are near the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level. And the RSI, or actually the stochastic in this case, is overbought. And all these things point to the same outcome, that price may continue to go down soon. Yeah. This has been shown by this arrow here. But we didn't arrive at this conclusion just by looking at one individual indicator or technical analysis method. Instead, we looked at multiple things, and they all pointed to the same direction, which gives us as traders more confidence that price will actually go down because multiple things come to the same conclusion. And this is exactly what Confluence is all about. Many things pointing to the same outcome. In this case, that a downtrend may ensue. Okay, so I think this is fairly clear, but now a little small word of warning. I believe, at least this is our theory in-house, there's also a notion of bad confluence. And perhaps the word bad is misleading. Maybe I should say misleading confluence instead. So bad, again, in quotes, bad confluence occurs when correlated indicators line up. And if you wait for all these correlated indicators to line up perfectly, this may make you come too late to the party. What do I mean by this? Let's have a look. So here is another example. And in this case, I have just simply applied a couple of MAs, moving averages, to the chart. And we can see that for the very last bar here, the fastest moving average, the light blue one, is above the second fastest, which is above the medium one, which is above the slow one, and which is above the slowest one. So they all lined up. You can also say they are stacked because they ordered according to their period, to the degree of speed, basically how fast they adapt to price. So they all ordered, and on top of all this, price is actually above the fastest moving average. So they all ordered, they're stacked, and price is above it. So one may say, okay, there's also some confluence here. We have several indicators, all MAs in this case, of course, telling me the same thing, that price is in an uptrend. But to me, this is a sign of, in quotes, bad confluence. Because here, the indicators that we're looking at, they're all MAs. And of course, since they're all based on the same logic, more or less, they're highly correlated. In that case, if we wait until everything lines up perfectly, it may be that we're too late to the party. And now entering into this long trade or taking this as a long signal might be a bad idea. And instead, often price will do the opposite. In this case, we would enter into an overextended trend run. And you know what happens in an overextended trend? Chances are that it may pull back. And this is exactly what happened in this case. If I go back to the next slide, we can see here that after this overextended run, price pulled back afterwards. And had we entered at this point here, we would not have been very happy, I believe, because in this case, we trusted Confluence, but it was Confluence based on highly correlated indicators, which to me is not a good idea. Okay, and just as a fun fact, this particular scenario with a trend radar indicator, we had presented this indicator a couple of webinars ago. It's this indicator you can see here at the bottom of the chart, which has these reddish and greenish areas. And when everything is green, like for example here, it means that price is above all our moving averages, which we can see here. So, which indicates a very strong and extended uptrend. And when we have a little dot here, it also shows or means that the MAs are stacked. They're ordered according to their period. And again, this is actually a pattern which we teach using the market or the trend radar indicator. It's an overextended run pattern. And as a result, after such a pattern, it is very likely that a pullback may happen, that the overextended run will not continue at the same speed. Instead, it is more likely that it will take a pause anytime soon. Okay, so this is an example of bad confluence. But again, let's revise our definition of confluence. So confluence is more or less a fancy word for when the good stars align. So I added this good word here. And which basically means that when multiple complementary indicators line up and forecast the same thing. Okay, so this is our revised definition, which we are going to work off from. Now, let's be concrete. We have come up with a new notion, which we call super signals. Super signals are the result of confluence. And now guess, on which indicators are we basing ourselves on? Which are these three complementary and non-correlated indicators? Anybody wants to take a guess? Let me see if I see something in the chat. Yes, Alex says 1 to 3 strike. Great guess. You are right, Alex. Which other indicators, perhaps, if you're following us for quite some time, you may know? Divergence cloud. Yes, thanks, Alex. And yes, volatility crusher. Exactly. And all three together are our power bundle indicators. So thanks, Alex. Great guess. We're basing our notion of confluence, from which we derive our super signals. We're basing it on the power bundle 360 AO. We have introduced the latest version of our indicators in the last TechTalk 2 weeks ago, which now also contains auto optimization. So AO stands for auto optimization. Now, a quick reminder, what are these three indicators? as Alex already mentioned, they are 1 to 3 strike for trend trading, divergence cloud for spotting reversals, and volatility crusher for finding strong breakouts. And we have chosen these indicators or combined these indicators purposefully in this way because they treat or trade different aspects of the market. So we have trend trading, we have spotting reversals or pullbacks, and we have indicators that work primarily in a sideways market when a breakout occurs. Now, 1 to 3 strike, as mentioned, is our trend trading indicator, and it confirms a strong trend when directionality, volume, and volatility come together. So directionality must be paired with an increase in volume and an increase in volatility. Divergence cloud is our indicator for spotting pullbacks or trend reversals. And as the name suggests, it's based on the notion of divergence. And in this case, we have come up with our own notion of divergence, which is called volatility momentum divergence. So we're basically contrasting price action with the volatility of price. And if the indicator spots a discrepancy in either a bullish or bearish divergence, cloud is drawn with a corresponding entry signal. And finally, we have volatility crusher. It's an indicator designed to spot strong breakouts. And the strong breakout is a breakout which hopefully will last for quite some time. And we as traders can take advantage of this by entering into the trade or into the direction of the breakout. All right, so these are our 3 indicators. And just to summarize, all 3 of them come with clear entry and exit signals. They run on any platform. So we've showcased them for TradingView because that was the first platform where we introduced the auto optimization feature, but they basically run on any platform that we support. They run on every time frame or asset class, and they support basically any trading style. If you're a day trader or an investor or a swing trader, you can take advantage of these indicators. All 3 indicators have built-in real-time statistics, which basically show you directly on the chart how well the signals have been working out historically speaking. And all 3 indicators come with our latest feature, which is auto optimization, which will find the best parameters for you for the given symbol and time frame at hand. All right, so this was last week's topic, and if you missed it, check your emails. We have sent out the recording link from last week. If you didn't get an email, contact me or contact Nicola, and we're going to send you the recording link so you can check out what this Power Bundle 360 AO is all about. Now, back to our super signals. So now the actual topic starts. Super signals. Our super signals are based on our Power Bundle indicators, which are 1 to 3 strike, divergence cloud, and volatility crusher. And they are based on the notion of confluence. And how we are combining our individual indicators to come up with super signals, I'm going to show you right now. We have come up with 4 distinct super signals. And you will see in a second, some may occur more often than others, and others might be more rare. Now, our first super signal occurs, and we call this the bronze signal. It occurs when at least 2 of the 3 indicators, so at least 2 indicators of our Power Bundle, must have an open trade in the same direction. So for example, divergence cloud must have an entry signal, which is still working. And perhaps 1 to 3 strike also has a long entry signal, which is still working. That's a sufficient condition. And as a third condition, we require that the third indicator, in this case, it would be volatility crusher, does not contradict the long direction of 1 to 3 strike and divergence cloud. So bronze is 2 indicators have an open trade in the same direction, and the third indicator does not contradict it. So that's super signal number 1. Super signal number 2, which we call the silver signal. This one is a bit interesting. It's actually, it requires two of the indicators to contradict to each other. So in this case, it requires that 1, 2, 3 strike signals a long trade, while divergence cloud signals a short trade. When this happens, this shows indecision in the market. And we're basically waiting for a tiebreaker. And guess what the tiebreaker is? It's volatility crusher. So for silver signal, divergence cloud short, 1, 2, 3 strike long, or vice versa. And then volatility crusher comes in and either shows a long signal or a short signal. And whatever that signal is going to be our tiebreaker signal. And we're going to have a silver signal in the direction of whatever volatility crusher shows. Okay, next one is our gold signal. And the more we go to the right-hand side, the more rare the signals are. So the gold signal occurs when at least 2 of the 3 indicators have an entry signal at the same bar in the same direction. So for example, volatility crusher has a long signal on one bar, and divergence cloud also has a buy signal on the same bar. If this happens, we have a gold signal. And of course, you can imagine these are quite rare. And then we have platinum, which is the rarest of all. Here we require that all 3 indicators must have an entry signal at the same bar in the same direction. All right, so let's have a look how this works in particular. And just a quick word about why we have chosen our power bundle indicators. Well, because they're very much complementary and non-correlated. So we've put them into the power bundle because of this, because they are not correlated, because they are based on different calculations. They look at different aspects in the market and they trade different things. They trade different market cycles. Because of this, they are highly uncorrelated because they are very complementary. If one doesn't work, the other one works, or vice versa. So we have purposely chosen the indicators in this way. And because they are so uncorrelated, this makes them very good candidates for look for Confluence. Because if 2 uncorrelated indicators, or perhaps 3, tell me the same thing, well, that's a good sign. Because that's a very big conviction that price will actually do what these 3 indicators independently have figured out. Yeah, and the word independently is very important because they use different sources, different calculation to come up with the same conclusion. And one such moment in time where all the stars align, in this case, all our 3 stars align, can be seen here. Here we have an entry signal of 1, 2, 3 strike and volatility crusher at the same time and on the same bar. And this gives us a very strong confluent entry signal to the long side because both of them have come up with the same conclusion independently.
And divergence cloud as well, actually, Daniel. It's just hidden behind the volatility crusher.
Good point. Yeah, this is actually a platinum signal, which is super rare. This is really when everything aligns. You won't find it very often, but it exists. And if this happens, if all 3 indicators give you the same entry signal in the same direction at the same bar, we have a platinum signal. Thanks, Nicola, for pointing this out. Okay. All right. So just a quick repeat. Bronze signals occurs when at least 2 of the indicators have an open trade in the same direction. The trade so the entry of that trade must not be on the same bar. It just still needs to be open. Yeah, but the entry point could have been a couple of bars apart. So at least 2 indicators must have an open trade in the same direction, and the 3rd indicator does not contradict the direction of the 2 indicators. Silver was when we actually have a contradiction, or waiting for a contradiction, or waiting for 1, 2, 3 strike to contradict divergence cloud, and then volatility crusher comes in as the tiebreaker. And why does this work? Because let's say divergence cloud is long, 1, 2, 3 strike shows a downtrend, so they contradict each other. That clearly shows indecision in the market. And indecision, we're waiting for a point when we actually have clarity. And this is where we use volatility crusher for, which comes in as the tiebreaker. And when volatility crusher comes in and gives us a long signal, for example, that's a strong conviction that the indecision has come to an end and trend will unfold to the upside. Or vice versa, if it's a short signal that volatility crusher brings in, trend may unfold to the downside. Okay, so gold signals occur when at least two of the three indicators have an entry signal on the same bar in the same direction. So for example, volatility crusher and divergence cloud have a short entry signal on the same bar. Yeah? Or perhaps 1 to 3 strike and volatility crusher have a long entry signal at the same bar. This would give you a gold signal. And finally, the rarest of all, when all the stars align perfectly, is when all three indicators have an entry signal in the same direction on the same bar. But as mentioned before, this is super, super rare. Okay, so now let's stop the slides and perhaps let's look at some charts, shall we? So let me quickly switch over and introduce to you the Power Bundle AO with super signals. All right, so let me switch over to my trading view. And I'm going to start with, I have a little alert here. I'm going to start with a chart of CL on the 5-minute time frame. And I have applied also to this chart our brand new Power Bundle indicator, which complements our Power Bundle AO indicators. So, but let me walk you through everything one step at a time. So the first thing you can see probably on this chart are some big triangles. So you have a golden triangle here, and guess what these are? Well, these are our gold signals. And gold signals were when at least two indicators have an entry signal in the same direction at the same bar. So this can be bullish or bearish. So if the triangle is pointing down, it's a bearish signal. If it's pointing up, like here, it's a bullish signal. Okay. What else do we see? We see a whole bunch of bronze triangles here. They're smaller, and we purposefully made them smaller because they're less, filtered. They're more common, so they're not as interesting, perhaps, but nonetheless, they're good signals. So these bronze signals are created when at least two indicators have an open trade in the same direction. For example, here, at least two indicators must have had an open trade into the sell direction. Or here, they must have had an open trade into the buy direction. Let me just scroll through it a bit more. What do we see? Yeah, I'm looking for maybe a platinum signal. There's none right now, but this is a 5-minute chart. So we don't see any platinum signals and we don't see any silver signals. But it's not so important. The concept is more important at this point. So we do see that our brand new indicator, we call the power panel, which is the one here, generates these confluent signals, our super signals, onto the chart. And you can clearly see by their color what kind of signal they are. So this is gold, this is bronze. And if it was a silver color, it would have been a silver signal. Or if it was a platinum color, it would have been a platinum signal. And you can also tell by that size. So the smallest one is the bronze one, because it's the least rare, it's the most frequent one. Then comes silver, which is a bit bigger, then gold. And if you see a really massive triangle, then this is a platinum signal because it's so rare. Okay, so that's one thing you see. But what else do we see here? Let's have a look at this little table at the bottom right of the chart. So this table shows you, first of all, what is the current state of our three underlying indicators. So as mentioned before, our super signals are based on 1 to 3 strike, divergence cloud, and volatility crusher. And here you can see at a glance how well these three indicators are working, for example. What is their long efficiency and what is their short efficiency for each of the indicators? If they are currently in a trade, for example, and they will also tell you what is the trade direction. So for example, here we can see that on our last bar, this is of course always relative to the very last bar on the chart, we can see that currently 1 to 3 strike has an open trade, a short trade, when the entry was at 89.09, so somewhere up here. For divergence cloud, we can see, for example, that the divergence cloud currently has neither a bullish or a bearish divergence, but it is also on a short trade. So you can see here. And again, the entry was at 88.94. And this makes sense because we did have this Bronx signal here. And if you remember, the Bronx signal is generated when at least 2 of our 3 indicators is currently in a trade in the same direction. And as luck will have it, also volatility crusher is currently in a short trade, as you can see it. So they all 3 are short right now. We still only see a Bronx signal because we actually don't have a signal defined where we require all 3 indicators to be short at the same time, at least not built in. You will see in a second that you are, however, will be able to define your own Confluence signals with the settings, which I'm going to go through in a second. All right, so this is what you can see here on the top and the right 3 columns of this panel. Now, let's have a look at the most left column. Here we can see basically a history of the most recent signals. And we can see that our most recent signal, which is the one on the top here, has been a Bronx signal. You can see this little triangle here. In fact, they were all Bronx. Yeah, a Bronx signal to the downside, and it occurred 35 bars ago. This one here. So if you count this up, it's 35 bars. If you count the bars from here. The signal before this was actually a Bronx signal, a bullish Bronx signal to the upside, which occurred 134 bars ago. Before that, it was a bearish Bronx signal 183 bars ago, and so forth. So this basically is a small ticker, which you can use to see what was my history of my most recent signals. All right, so that's our power panel. I'm going to look at some other examples in a second, but I just want to show you one more thing. You have the option, actually you have a million options with this indicator. So let me just open up the settings, and don't be scared because this settings dialog is very complex, but there's a big utility to it because you now have the option directly from this power panel to enable or disable the individual indicators which generate these signals. And more precisely, you can enable or display or hide 1, 2, 3 strike, divergence cloud, or volatility crusher. So let me show you how this can be done. So I'm going to go to the settings. If you scroll down just a little bit, you can see a settings category here, chart display settings. And by default, show 1, 2, 3 strike, show divergence cloud, and show volatility crusher is disabled. And I like it this way to start my chart off. But if I want to zoom in a little bit, if I, for example, want to find out, okay, well, I can see here, 1, 2, 3 strike is short, divergence cloud is short, and volatility crusher is short. If I want to see the details, I can simply switch it on by clicking these checkboxes. And as soon as the indicator recalculates, we're going to see all 3 indicators applied to the chart at the same time. No need anymore for you guys to, to find it in the indicator settings up here, pick the indicator and so forth. It's done automatically. You can just add it in. And one big utility of this is, for example, let's see, we took this Bronx signal here. This is just an entry signal. But entering into a trade is just one thing. We also need to get out of it. And perhaps I want to use the profit targets of volatility crusher for this. So what I can do, I can simply add or enable the display of volatility crusher to my chart. Yeah, and I see the profit targets right here. And I can also see where my stop loss is based on volatility crusher. And why would I have done this? Well, because I can see here that currently volatility crusher is in a short position. And I could see this without having volatility crusher displayed on the chart. So I like to start off with a very clean chart. And when I start this off, I typically hide them first, because I don't need to see them. So once they're hidden, it just takes a small time to recalculate. But once they're hidden, all I can focus on are my super signals. In this case, these Bronx signals here. I know that we had a short signal, a short super signal here. But I also know at the same time that 1, 2, 3 strike is currently in a short position. That divergence cloud is currently in a short position, and the same with volatility crusher, simply by looking at this panel here. So I think this makes it very easy for me to see what's going on without having to have, without requiring that all these indicators are actually visible on the chart. This keeps my chart very clean. Okay, so one more thing, and we're gonna look at some other charts. You can also see here which settings are currently being used for the 3 underlying indicators. We can see here that, for example, for 1, 2, 3 strike, our auto setting number 2 is being used. For divergence cloud, auto setting number 3 is being used, or for volatility crusher, it's auto setting number 1. Yeah, and I have chosen these beforehand before I start this presentation because the optimal settings, as we can see here, are exactly these as well. So 2 for 1, 2, 3 strike, 3 for divergence cloud, and 1 for volatility crusher. And if I wanted to have optimal settings, and in this case, optimal super signals, super signals which are based on the optimal parameters for each of the individual indicators, well, I chose them this way. But I don't have to do it. If I wanted to, I could, for example, for 1, 2, 3 strike, use the manual settings. Maybe I have a preferred setting in my mind, which is neither of these optimal settings. I can simply go to my parameters, and where it says 1, 2, 3 strike, I switch it to manual. Once it's switched to manual, I can simply go down here and choose manual settings for 1, 2, 3 strike, whatever I want to use for these settings. I click OK. And as a result, now the manual settings are used for 1, 2, 3 strike. Okay. So far, so good. Are there any questions so far? Nicola, do you see anything? Yeah. Nicola is, I think, muted. Okay, if there are no questions right now. Yes.
Sorry, yeah, I was muted. Trader Joe would like to see the ES futures 15-minute chart.
Yeah, we're going to get to this in just 1 second, Trader Joe. So let me just perhaps explain some of the functionality first, but we're going to look at some other charts in just a second. Yeah, so don't forget about this. And I see Colin said platinum must be huge. Yeah, it is huge, not only in terms of size, but also in terms of, wow, what kind of quality the signal has. Yeah, it's rare to spot, but it does come up. All right, so one more thing, and then we're going to move on to some other charts. So we do have our bronze, gold, and silver signals, and perhaps platinum if we're lucky. These are predefined, and they're right there, immediately usable for you. But you can also define your own custom super signal. How this works, let me show you now. So I'm going to click on the settings, and you can see by default, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze are enabled as my settings. But perhaps I want to put my own logic in. I want to define my own super signal. So what you can do in this case, you can enable this 5th category here, which we call custom signals, and the arrows or the entry arrows for this are bluish once you see them. And of course, everything here, the size of the gold signals and the custom signals and the colors can be styled in the styling tab here. So these are just our defaults, but of course you can override them if you want. Now, how do I define my custom signal? Let's do this. So if we scroll down here, we have our custom long signal logic and custom short signal logic. So let's say perhaps I want to have a custom signal where 1, 2, 3 strike is currently long, so it's currently in a long trade. Divergence cloud is currently in a long trade, and perhaps in addition also volatility crusher must be currently in a long trade, which is more strict than our bronze signal currently, because for this we require that only 2 of them need to be in the same trade direction. So I'm going to say yes here as well for volatility crusher. Now, all 3 for this signal need to be in the same direction. And let me just click OK. And this always takes a little time to recalculate. And we can now see here, for example, that we do have our custom signals applied to the chart. And this gives you a way to define your own super signals with this custom logic. You could also say, for example, that I want maybe 1 to 3 strike to have a long entry signal, and perhaps at the same bar, I want, for whatever reason, divergence cloud to be currently long, and perhaps volatility crusher to be currently long. This exists. So I click OK. Again, this takes a little time to recalculate, and we could then see that whenever such a signal comes up. For example, here we have such a custom signal come up. And once you define your own custom signal, of course, they will also show up in this ticker window. Here we can see, for example, 107 bars ago, we did have a custom signal to the long side, which coincided with the wrong signal as well. Okay, so this was the last feature I wanted to point out. Now let's look at some other charts. Let me switch over. And we're going to look at the 50-minute future charts in a second. Let me switch over to Ethereum USD tethered. And what we can see here, just because it was just recent, it's a 30-minute chart. We can see here that we did have a nice gold signal here, which required 2 of the indicators to have an entry signal to the long side. And look at the move that followed afterwards. Yeah? And currently, we did just recently have a bronze signal to the downside, and yeah, the ensuing move looks promising as well.
And Daniel, actually on this chart, it might be a good time if you scroll back a while, back to when Ethereum was around 2,000, 3,000. I think we see some good platinum signals.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay,
let's have a look. Yeah, this is a silver signal. Let's have a look. Let me just make this a bit more condensed. Yeah, look at these gold signals here. So they're pretty predictive.
Coming up in a bit, I think.
Yeah. These are super rare. So it's like, oh, there we go. Look at this. The stars have aligned.
And there's one platinum right signal. Too.
All right, here on this side?
Nope, to the left. Okay. Just a little bit higher, so it really caught the downtrend.
Okay,
really well.
Yeah. So this is a platinum signal when all stars align. Yeah, super rare. It does happen, but it's like striking gold, or in this case, striking platinum. So if everything aligns, you might want to consider this trade, because everything points to the same direction and came to the same conclusion on the very same bar. Imagine how rare this is.
Yeah, I know. Brian wants to know, so are the results actually better? Are they more profitable? Because that's what actually matters.
Yeah, exactly. And we did run backtest, and I forgot to download that picture that we had where we created an automated strategy in Trading View. So I don't know if you knew this, but Trading View now has a way to define strategies. Currently, these strategies can only be used for backtesting purposes. We did create such a system, and Nicola, correct me if I'm wrong, but the signals were definitely outpacing the ones from the individual ones.
Yeah, and the difference, we also have some questions about, how do you actually calculate the efficiency for the super signals themselves? And the issue is, well, we're not providing exit points here with the super signals. We're providing entry signals, right? But using basic trailing stops in our tests, we definitely found it was outpacing the individual indicators.
Yeah, exactly. So for the backtest that we run, we did use, we implemented an exit logic. Otherwise, you can't run a backtest if it's just entries. And we got some very promising results. But for this indicator, we show the entries. But as mentioned before, if you want to time your exits, what you can do is to enable, once you have a nice entry that you like, you can enable any of the underlying indicators by simply clicking on these checkboxes. And they will then be added directly to the chart. And you can use the exits of these underlying indicators to time your exits. Yeah. So here, you can see it here, the confluence of indicators, and you can use the short exit signals here for 1 to 3 strike, or for divergence cloud to time your exits. So imagine, I think 1 to 3 strike here was configured with 6 exits. Yeah, you could have just nicely taken profits along the way, and you would go flat at this point here at the 6th exit.
And
so that's
Daniel,
another. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Alex wants to know, and another, I forget who asked, do we have any plans to combine super trend with the power bundle indicators at all? Super trend bullseye for Confluence?
That's an interesting suggestion. We didn't consider it yet. But perhaps, yeah, well, we're always open for new ideas, and who knows what combinations will be the best. But it's a possibility, and we will discuss it internally. Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
Yes, Ari wants to know, I know you're going to go over this at the end, Daniel, and all the different packages and ways to upgrade. But Ari says he has 123 Strike, Divergence Cloud, and Supertrend Bullseye. And he doesn't have Volatility Crusher. He was wondering if he buys Volatility Crusher, will he have access to all this Confluence signals? Or is this a new package or some other way of upgrading?
It is a new package, but there are upgrade options which take into account what you already have. So yeah, we're going to go through this in just a bit.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's just have a look at one additional chart. And I didn't forget about you, Trader Joe. I would like to go through this content first quickly, and then we can come back to some individual charts afterwards. So here, just yet again, this is the S&P E-mini futures, yes, on the 4-hour, and again, just showing you the quality of the gold signals when they come up. Then they happen quite often for this particular one, for whatever reason, and you can see they're quite spot on. So again, a reminder: a gold signal occurs when at least two indicators have an entry signal at the same bar. Okay, now that's good. One thing I wanted to show is we actually do have a light version of this. But I think before I do this, let me perhaps go back to my slides, because this is the Cadillac, the premium version of the power panel, and our super signals. But there's a lighter version, which I'm going to show you in a second. But quickly, let me go back to my charts. Now, we've looked at super signals, and if you're wondering, are these for me, or should I, is this something which could help me? Well, ask yourself the question: are you a trader, or are you an investor who has some confidence in our power bundle? If you like our power bundle, that's already a good thing. If you like auto optimization, using intelligence to find the best parameters for you, that would be good too. And if you believe in Confluence of uncorrelated indicators to make better trades, well, if the answer of this is, if you believe that, then I believe these super signals will be for you, because in my opinion, they make better entry signals, because when the stars align, it's more rare. Don't get me wrong. You're going to get fewer signals, but the ones you get, they tend to be more precise. Now, if you're interested, we did put together a bundle. And of course, if you already have the power bundle, there are upgrade options. But if you don't have them, if you're brand new, if you just come visit us, we did put everything together into a super special. It's a lifetime bundle, so there won't be any subscription or monthly subscriptions afterwards. It's a one-time fee. We are moving towards a subscription model. I mentioned this in our last Tech Talk, because we're moving to a software as a service model. So we only have a few seats left for lifetime. And once that's maxed out, we're going to move to a subscription version. But this one will include everything which you've seen in the last Tech Talk and then this Tech Talk. So you would get the Power Panel Premium, the one I've just shown you, with all the, information that you need to know about the individual indicators, but also about the super signals. You would get 123 Strike, the individual indicator, Divergence Cloud, the individual indicator, and Volatility Crusher. So basically the power bundle with all these stats and with the auto optimization function. So everything we've discussed in the last two Tech Talks, you get everything for life for this price. So then you're fully set basically with all we have to offer when it comes to the power bundle. If you want to take advantage of this, go to our homepage, tradingindicators.com/super. That's quite simple, tradingindicators.com/super. And maybe Nikolai can put this into the chat as well, if you can. So tradingindicators.com/super. Now, you may ask yourself the question, maybe I don't need the individual indicators and see what's on the chart. I only want to see the super signals, because that's all I need. I trust them. I don't need to see the individual ones. I have my own method to time my exits. Well, we do have a solution for you as well. Let me quickly show you what this is. So back to the chart, and I'm going to remove, actually, I'm going to open up, I'm going to remove this power panel. It's gone. And I'm going to add a new indicator to it, which is called the, Super Signals AO. Okay. It's a panel which looks a little bit different. And once this loads, you will see what I mean. It's just this thing. It's basically a condensed version of our super panel, which had all these columns. Oh, by the way, even for the super panel, you could condense it to just show this column here. There are options to hide individual aspects of it. Okay, so with this version, you only have this little panel here, which is basically the ticker of the latest signals. You also see which are the optimal settings to be used for the individual indicators. And of course, you will see these super signals on the chart. So now if I, for example, want to use the optimal ones, I would choose 2, 3, and 1. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and choose 2 for 1 to 3 strike, 3 for divergence cloud, and 1 for volatility crusher. By the way, there's unfortunately no other way to do it in TradingView. So it needs to be like that TradingView first shows you what the optimal settings are, and then you need to select them. It's just the way TradingView is programmed. I've gotten quite a few questions since the last Tech Talk. It's just the way it is, unfortunately, right now with TradingView. Of course, should there be another way in the future, we will update our indicators accordingly. Okay, so now I've chosen 2, 3, 1. And of course, I now see my super signals based on these configurations for the individual indicators. And also with this version, you have, if I go back to the settings here, you have the auto optimization, which you can use. You can see the optimal settings here. You have all the signals, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, but you can also define your own custom signals by simply selecting this box, similar or the same way as I've shown this before. So if you want to define your own super signal, you can do this as well. What you don't get, however, is access to the individual indicators. So you will not be able to display them on the chart. You won't be able to display what is 1 to 3 strike doing right now. So that's not available with this. This is an indicator which only shows you the super signals, allows you to auto-optimize the underlying indicators, and you can define your own custom signals. So this may be enough for you because you're getting high quality entry signals, and you may say, okay, based on this, I can define my own exits. I can come up with my own exits. If that's fine, no problem. We also have an offer for this. So for this particular version, we just call the super signals. Not very creative, but hey, we'll specialize on writing software, not marketing. So this is just super signals. It's, again, for live. There are a few seats left. You're going to switch to a monthly subscription model. But if you want to get this, it's for $4.97 until the seats are filled up. And if you want to take advantage of this, go to tradingindicators.com/signals. Now, the previous one was called /super. And this one is /signals. If you can't remember this, or Nicola will put this into the chat, simply go to our homepage, go to the TradingView section of our indicators, and you will find both packages listed there as well, directly on our homepage. Now, and real quick, and I'm going to look at the individual chart in a second. If you go for the super signals, you will get the compact version of our power panel with platinum, gold, silver, and bronze signals, and you can define your own custom signals, and you will get auto optimization. Okay, so if you want to take advantage of this, it's much cheaper, of course, but you don't get the individual indicators with this package. Now, other platforms are coming. So currently, this is only available for TradingView, but we are currently working super hard to convert all of what you've seen to other platforms. Next on our list is Metastock, and then there will be NinjaTrader for the auto optimization piece, and for the power bundle, also NinjaTrader for sure will be part of it as well. depending on the availability of the platform. Okay, so if you want to log in any of the specials you've seen, the lifetime option for these for other platforms other than TradingView, simply email us at info@tradingindicators.com, and you can log in the lifetime special up until the seats are filled up. And of course, as mentioned previously, if you already have or own parts of the Power Bundle, just simply reach out to us and we will discuss with you what are your upgrade options to the super signals. All right, so now let's look at some charts.
Daniel, do you mind just one or two questions before
Yeah,
we go
go ahead, please.
So Trader Joe wants to know, does the bundle price or the price for super signals as well include all available platforms?
No, it would be only for TradingView at this point. But I mean, we get this question a lot. Should we have, or once we have it available for other platforms, there's just a small fee to enable this platform for you as well. So it won't be the full price again. That's just going to be a small fee. Okay.
And Brian wants to know, will there be any super signals indicator for Thinkorswim? And somebody else asked this question as well. And I responded, yes, but not with the ability to package all of the indicators into one, and not with the ability to have auto optimization. So we will be able to do super signals, but you're not going to have all three Power Bundle indicators in one indicator or optimized.
It's a bit unfortunate because TOS is a bit limited in terms of what can be done. It's an older platform, and they have, and the way they are set up, because everything for TOS, I don't know if you know this, actually is calculated on their own servers. So this is why they have so many restrictions on in terms of complexity of what can be done, because they do all the calculations for you, which is great because it runs very fast on your end, but it's also quite restrictive because they put a quota on how complex it can be. And they're quite unique in that way.
That's all the questions. Right.
Okay, so let's have a look at some charts. So Trader Joe wanted to see ES futures on the 50 minutes. And I think there was also a question for Amazon I saw in the comments, Nicola, was that right?
Yeah, but I don't remember the time frame.
Okay. Okay, let's just go over to the 15-minute of ES. So let me open up ES. And I'm going to apply the full version of it. So maybe take this out and apply the Power Panel auto optimized to the chart. All right, so here we are on the 50-minute of the E-minis, and we have super signals enabled. And the first thing I always do is to dial in my indicator. So I can see here the optimal settings are 1, 4, and 4. All right, so I go down to my settings and set auto setting number 1 for 1 to 3 strike, 4 for divergence cloud, and 4 as well for volatility crusher. Okay, so then now they are dialed in. You always have to wait until this little icon stops turning, which basically means that now it is done calculating. And you can see here we did have a few bronze signals, which didn't look too bad to me. Actually, quite nice for this particular day. But of course, this is a 5-minute chart of the E-minis, and the efficiency may vary a lot from day to day because price is changing. And here we had a nice gold signal, beautiful entry a while back. Here we had a nice bronze signal catching this big move. So I think it looks pretty decent. Just by looking at it, eyeballing it, we catch the trend direction, at least an immediate move of our bronze signals quite nicely. And if it's a gold signal, we actually catch a really long move. So Any other charts?
Yeah, the other chart, the Amazon one, was Amazon 4 hours.
Yeah.
Chart, 4-hour chart, and on extended hours.
Amazon on extend. Oh my goodness. Extended, yeah. And 4 hour you said?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Okay. Oh my goodness, what happened here? Did Amazon have earnings today, just recently? Looks like it, huh? All right. I hope nobody of you holds any Facebook stocks. That was a bad surprise this morning. So again, the first thing to do is to use the optimal settings. So 7, 1, and 5. Let's go here. 7, 1, and 5. Okay, optimal settings are selected. Again, it updates. This, as you can imagine, really pushes the boundaries of what is possible. Oh my goodness. Huh. Look at this. We actually did just have a nice, beautiful gold signal, probably because of this massive move, made all 3 indicators trigger a nice gold signal on the last bar for Amazon. And we did have a platinum signal right here for all 3 underlying indicators. Had a sell signal at the same time. And it caught a nice move down. Cool. Okay. Are there any questions, Nicola? Any other questions?
Well, we have 2 other chart requests.
Mm-hmm.
One is ENPH, end phase.
In PH. And which time frame?
ENPH. Sorry, I didn't see if you inputted that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And no mention of the time frame.
Okay. But again, we can see here a nice, this is again the 4-hour chart, a nice platinum signal. Again, good call that we're finding them so quickly. Let me maybe go to a smaller time frame on the regular hours, maybe to 15 minutes. And I didn't even dial in the indicators at this point. So again, it's loading. And we can see here, we had a couple of nice bronze entry signals. But again, the first thing you would do is to use the optimal settings 10, 6, and 10. So let me go here. 10, 6, and 10. All right. Still loading. And now our signals have been dialed into this signal. Yeah, it's mostly brown signals. Now I like to see at least a silver signal. And by the way, if you want to make your own more restrictive bronze signal, I told you before that right now only 2 of the 3 indicators need to be aligned in the same trade direction. If you want to add a third one to it, you can do it easily with the custom signal logic that you can use. And one thing I should mention, let me just quickly go back to the chart. So both the super signals for 497, or if you want to go for the all-in-one package for 1,497, they do come with a 7-day money-back guarantee. So I understand this is a lot of money to ask for. So there's no risk on your side if you say, this is not for me, the signals are not working out, or maybe this is not what I expected. Hopefully you won't come to that conclusion, but if you do, then of course there's going to be a no questions asked money back guarantee within the first 7 days, so no risk on your end. All right, so we're already above the hour mark. So if there are no more questions, Nicola, I think
We only have one question. We have 1 chart request, but one question is, will this ever be added to Zillion in the future, since it's on trading?
That's I don't know. It's more difficult if it's on the platform where which is not powered by TradingView. Even though we are using TradingView charts for Zillion, it's quite a bit different. Not in the near-term future, at least. I do see another question here. Do these signals repaint? So good question. Actually, none of these signals, none of the super signals repaint. So once it's there, it will stay there forever. So these are not drawn retroactively onto the chart. So no.
And Daniel, one last question, in case it wasn't clear from what you were doing before, maybe too fast. Raj wants to know, how do you optimize the super signals?
Oh, yeah. So it's actually quite easy. So let me go to, let's go this one here to the, this one here. All you need to do, so actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off and reapply it, and I'll show you the optimization process. So I'll take it off. I apply it fresh with the default settings. So power panel auto optimized. So we call this big thing here the power panel. And by the way, I mentioned this before. If this is too big, you don't want to have this kind of behemoth on your chart. Even though I find it super useful because it shows me at a glance what's going on. But if you find this is too big or you don't want to see it at all, because everything can be customized. So you can get rid of any of these columns if you don't like it. You can change the size and everything. Okay, so don't worry about that. Now, how to optimize? So the first thing you have to look at is the second row for the 3 columns to the right. So this row here where it says optimize settings. And you can see that for 1 to 3 strike, the optimal settings would be auto setting number 1. And for divergence cloud, it would be auto setting number 2. For volatility crusher, it would be auto setting number 8. That's basically all you need to know. Because then what you will do, you will simply go to the settings. And the first 3 things that you can see here are the which settings to use for 1 to 3 strike, divergence cloud, and volatility crusher. And all you need to do is to choose auto setting number 1 for 1 to 3 strike, because it's written here. Auto setting number 2 for divergence cloud, and auto setting number 8 for volatility crusher. And that's it. You click OK. You wait until it is reloaded, depending on how heavy your computer is used. And then you get your beautiful signals. Yeah, all optimized. That's it. Any other questions? And guys, if you have questions regarding anything else, you can always reach out to me or to our team. Simply go to just a second. Go to our homepage at tradingindicators.com. We do have a contact form there where you can just write any request. Or if you are interested in reaching out to us by email, simply write to info@tradingindicators.com. And Daniel? I think with this, yes, Nicola?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Did I cut you off?
Oh, I was just wanted to wrap it up, but if there's any other questions, please go ahead.
One last one, just because it's been asked a couple of times. Does it work on Forex? So I'm saying maybe open up some pair like USD JPY or something, or USD EUR.
Let's have a look.
Time frame, like 5 minutes or something, and just see if it works.
GPY. Okay, let's check it out. Yeah, it's a good question because Forex is it's a different animal than most other asset classes. So again, but the process is always the same. So you get your signals here, but you would need to dial them in. So optimize settings are 2, 6, and 8. So again, the first step I do, I go to my settings and I say 2, 6, and 8. And again, there's no other way to do it. We would have done it automatically to always use the optimal settings, but there's just no way in TradingView. So it can be done otherwise. So you pick it, you click OK, it will recalculate. And yeah, you can see here some beautiful entries, especially this gold entry here for a nice short trade, for example. On USD yen, here another one, and so forth. So yeah, it definitely works on Forex. And there's actually no restriction whatsoever in terms of asset class. If you're a crypto trader, you can use it in crypto. You can use it for FX. You can use it for ETFs, futures, or equities. So all of our power bundle indicators are quite flexible that way. All right.
So no more questions. We just have chart requests.
Yeah, but I think we're maxing out our time at 7:15. And if you have any questions, please just reach out to us at info@tradingindicators.com, and we're happy to address all your questions. And if you're interested in getting one of the last lifetime access packages, lock it in, or send me an email if you want to have it locked in for another platform besides TradingView. Okay. With this, everyone, I wish you a good night or good morning, depending on where you are. And I'm looking forward to the next Tech Talk, which is going to take place in 2 weeks from now on Thursday at 6 p.m. All right, so goodbye, everyone. Thanks for listening. I know your time is precious. I apologize for being a bit over time. Took a bit too long, but I think it was an interesting topic, a very complex topic, but hopefully I made it interesting for everyone. So good night and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.